You will never be able to make money trading if you do not know how to construct a trade setup. Most people think they do. They actually don't. They normally have 1 or 2 components of the 4 you need to actually construct a good trading setup. If you are struggling to make consistent returns in the market right now, if you're trading and sometimes you're making money, sometimes setups work, sometimes they don't, you're probably missing one of these components. If you bought this breakout, made money, and then got absolutely chopped up trying to buy every single one of these breakouts here, it's likely going to be an issue with your trading setups. Part 1 to any trading setup is going to be environment. You need to know the environment of which you are trading, and there are 3 components to environment. The first one is going to be market structure. The reason I knew this year to be extremely bullish was when I saw this key structural level here break, and then another key structural level here break, be bullish, be even more bullish. Those were 2 signals for me to go long and start being bullish. And I could do that because I spotted the environment shift. But it's not only market structure. Alongside market structure, you want to keep a good track of market sentiment. To understand market sentiment, make sure you're watching Kim's macro updates on this channel every single Wednesday. Make sure you're part of a community that's always talking about crypto. Make sure you're following good quality, low noise, high signal accounts on Twitter. And there are a ton of other things you can do as well. Find what works for you. And then finally, also pay attention to news events. If there's a big macroeconomic event happening, Kim's normally going to be covering it. You need to be aware of it and how it can impact the price. Because see, market structure affects the likely direction it's going to go in. Sentiment does the same thing. News gives you volatility. When we get a big news event, we're much more likely to get volatility to one side or the other. So let's apply that to the market right now. So for market structure, I see a few really key level breaks over here. Recent 20K psychological resistance reclaimed, retested, and bounced back up. And then the biggest structural shift is over here at 25K, acted as a big resistance there. And now we're nicely above it. We've got the next big resistance to overcome over here. We're getting a good idea of the macro conditions. So big level of supply, loads of people are going to be looking to sell here. But if we get above that, we are looking fantastic. Zoom into the weekly and we can see the price is really not doing anything significant. We're just chopping and ranging in this area. This is a little bit of a tricky environment to trade unless you like trading sideways ranges, which most people don't do well in. You'll know that, I probably don't want to be trading in these conditions. Then we can zoom into the 1 day to hone in on our levels a little bit. Go a little higher there, go for just above 26K. And then on this level, we've got a lot of wicks over here. So I like to be a bit more aggressive. Let's go for about 28.8. So yeah, we've got this going sideways over here. And then if the price comes down, our next support is at the 25K level, which is the key structural resistance. You could argue down to about 24 point something. Your exact level doesn't matter. It's more the macro plays you're looking to make. Now, I've explained this before as well. When you understand the environments, you know that this is going to act as a magnet. The second we lose this level here, the next support, the next place people are going to look to buy is going to be over here. Same here. We've got a buy level here that gets really choppy because these levels are weak. Think about fresh levels. They're unlikely to get very chopped. They're going to be sharp, clean moves through them. Here, because we've been there so many times, people aren't going to react as aggressively. I actually like trading ranges in the earlier phases. As it's initially forming, I like to look for longs and shorts. However, the further along we go, the less this environment becomes suited to my trading systems, so the less I'm looking to trade them. So we've got a good idea of the environment. Market sentiment right now is actually pretty good for crypto. And I'm just going to hone in on my level up here, as the next support is just about 31K. And of course, we can't really ignore the 30K psychological level, which is a softer one given how chopped up it got over there. So the next part of a trading setup, part 2, and everyone always does this, is the logic. What is my logic for taking whatever trade I take? My favorite trade, the best one, is actually catching this breakout. So let's go on to the 4 hour. And the trade I most want to take is actually nailing this very, very difficult to catch breakout. And for that, zoom in on the levels, a little bit lower, right about there, 28.8. That's around what I'm looking for. And I want to see price get above with confirmation over here. And why? What's my logic? So the logic stage is basically, I think if X happens, Y is going to happen. And I think if X being a break of this resistance happens, then the next level of sellers are going to be up here at 30K. And up here at around 31, maybe even higher. Doesn't really matter. I'll play it afterwards. By that point, I'll be heavily in profit. So that is my logic, and that's what I'm looking for. That's it. That's the logic part of the trade. Everything that comes after this is going to be risk management. So people normally do the logic pretty well, but they don't really risk manage it or think about it. They're just like, okay, I think this is going to happen. Let me just buy here. And then if it goes here, I'll buy some more. And then I'll sell some here, some there. And that's gambling. You don't have a strategy. You're not actually trading that. So how do we make this into a real strategy? Well, we're going to take a few different elements to our risk management. So first, entry. When am I looking for my entry? Well, my trigger will be for at least one candle close on the 4-hour or 2 candle closes on the 1 hour. Depending on how fast it's moving, those will be confirmations for me to enter a position. Okay, that's the entry decided. So that's element A, entry. Element B is going to be stop loss, and you place a stop loss where your trade gets invalidated. I'm looking over here at about 2,800. I do not want the price to come back down to minimum 2,800 once we get above there. And I'll also be looking to quickly move the stop loss to anticipate against more chop and coming back down. So we've got stop loss down here. That is about 2.8%, and I'll size my position accordingly, but we'll talk about that in a second. The next thing we want to determine after stop loss is going to be profit target. So I'll be looking to softly take profit over here, and if I'm lucky, I'll catch most of the move up to about 31.269. I'll look to take about 25% profit there and take the rest of it over there. Do you see how we're turning this into an actual trading setup and trading system? So the next thing we're going to do, the final step of risk management, is sizing our position. So how big do we want this position to be? Well, the max risk I want for any trade is normally between 1 to 3%. I will size the position accordingly, so if it hits my stop loss, I will only lose 1 to 3% of my portfolio. And that's the final stage. Most people think it's done. That's my trading, but they forget the fourth stage, and that is management and execution. Just because I've set this plan does not mean I'm going to execute it and stick to it. Many people will see the price approaching their level and get worried that they're going to miss their entry and enter early, or they'll get panicky when it starts chopping up in the middle over here and they'll take profit before it goes up to there. Execution is a skill. Sticking to your plan is a skill, and it's extremely difficult. It takes traders years. It's a lifelong battle, and you'll always have room to improve on this. Finally, you'll want to manage your position. I may make changes based on new data. I may move my stop loss depending on what happens. For example, if the price comes up, starts consolidating under this resistance after I've taken my 20%, maybe I'll take more. Why? Because if it's consolidating and really struggling to get above this level, maybe this resistance was more significant than I initially gave it credit for based on the data I had. So I'm going to use the new data to update my theory on this resistance and adjust my trade accordingly. And those are the 4 steps to creating a trade setup. We're also going to take a look at Ethereum here, because this has been pretty fantastic to trade recently. I caught a very nice short on this, and I'm going to take you guys through that setup. So if we zoom in here onto the 4-hour, you can see we had a nice breakout here at about 18,300. And at this point, I was really cautious. So I didn't like what was happening here. And a lot of people who use similar breakout strategies to me managed to nail a fantastic long here and close it in profit. In fact, a few members of our Discord did exactly this. Now that's great, because I'm training everyone on my Discord to become profitable traders. If you're interested in that, link in the description below. Now, the reason I didn't take it is I did not like the way Ethereum was moving without Bitcoin. I did not like the speed of the explosion. If you look at the way here, one 15-minute candle just exploded up, I did not like seeing that. Why is Ethereum moving so much and Bitcoin barely budging? Was it a trap? My intuition came in and I did not take this trade setup. However, when I saw the price go up here, that's when I was looking for my play, and I'll show you exactly how I took it. So step 1, environment. What is this environment? It is bullish for Ethereum. However, sentiment is nowhere near as bullish as it is over here for Ethereum. Across the crypto market, Bitcoin is not agreeing with Ethereum. And that's a very important environmental consideration. It's going on its own, and this price action looks really weird to me. Normally, when it looks weird to me, it's something bearish or against the current direction. What's my logic for this trade setup? Well, my logic is that most people will have $2,000 as a target that they're looking to sell. This little wick here is wiping a lot of people out. We are now bouncing between these 2 levels, and everyone's waiting for us to go in one direction or the other. I am going to try and catch a short here because I'm expecting this to revert to what Bitcoin is doing right now. Bitcoin is showing absolutely no signs of following. That is my logic for this trade setup. Now we're looking for execution and trigger. This is not a momentum breakdown I'm looking for. This is clearly looking very weird and choppy. So when I see something choppy like this, I want wide stops and I want a lot of patience. I'm not going to try catch a breakdown all the way down. No, I am going to wait for a retest of this level, and I'm going to expect the price not to get back above the top resistance over here. That is going to be my trade. So let's set it up. Okay, so let's look for our entry now. Short position. I'm looking to enter just above 1900. Let's call it 1905 over here, confluent with that level. Then we'll bring our stop loss down to exactly a nice round 1%, which is about 1925. Then our profit target, we've got two choices. We can be conservative and go for something like 1879, or we can be aggressive and go for the lower bound of this level here. What I'll do is initially set an aggressive target, but also offload some of my position at the top there. 20 position will be offloaded at the top there, and then the rest down here. That's my plan. Now I will size this accordingly. If I'm risking 3% of my portfolio, I would have used 3x leverage, but these are not my favorite trading conditions. I prefer trading breakouts and breakdowns, not retest choppier plays like this, so I will size a bit less for this trade. Now comes the execution part. Let us wait. Okay, price has come down. We're not going for the breakout entry. We'll see if it comes and retests our entry. We've got our retest over here. We are betting that price is going to come down to our next level. And here we would have managed the trade accordingly. We would have taken our profit here, see the price go up. If I see it go sideways too long, I would have actually reduced my position and taken profit here. For example, if we go sideways too long, I'm not looking to stay in a position like that, but we hit the target, we did a great trade, and this is a perfect trade setup and a good example. And if you wanted to be aggressive, you could have even gone for another entry over here, but the logic doesn't line up. That's not a setup I'm looking for. I prefer playing the extremities rather than rushing in for extra profit here at the lower ends. 0 shillings, 0 moon boy content, just stuff that's going to help make you better traders. If you like my style, my explanations, and the way I trade, then consider checking out the Discord, and I'll see you all next time.